So this is our fourth session on accompaniment, and today the focus will be on practicing. So we will begin right there with a practice. Perhaps beginning with a couple of deep breaths, letting the lungs fill from the bottom all the way up to the shoulders. And when the lungs are full, holding it for just a moment or two, for 2 or 3 beats. And then a long, slow out breath, feeling the release all the way throughout the body, very slowly. Close attention to the experience of releasing. And one more time. All the way to the shoulders. Holding the breath and releasing. And as our friend La Sarmiento says, finding a posture that your body appreciates and settling in. And allowing your attention to come into this moment. And now turning the attention to the breathing. Paying attention to our breathing with how it is showing up in the body. And in the experience of breathing, knowing that we are breathing. Knowing that this is an in-breath. That this is an out-breath. And now shifting our attention to the characteristics of accompaniment. And as I list each of them, pay particular attention to which one or ones resonate with you. Mirroring our value, mirroring the value of another. Bearing witness to suffering and light. The promise of a relationship that shows up in shared human dignity and mutual encouragement. And the skills of accompaniment. Simply being with, often in silence, being fully present for oneself, being fully present for another. Listening. Deep, open, heartfelt listening. Inquiry. Being curious about what's not known. And offering information with no intention of advice giving or imposing on another. Sensing into which of these characteristics and skills resonate with you. And inquiring of yourself, how can I manifest the reality of interconnectedness of all of life? How can I make interconnectedness manifest in what I think and say and do? Perhaps focusing on taking care of ourselves. Perhaps being of extra benefit to loved ones and friends. Perhaps seeing accompaniment as an opportunity for all of humanity, for all of life. Taking these characteristics and skills of accompaniment into our own breakout groups. And now selecting someone in your life to accompany, including yourself. Perhaps you know someone who is in special need at the moment. Perhaps you know someone whom it's simply joyous to be in the company of. Perhaps you're willing to stretch a little bit and accompany somebody who's different or difficult. But choosing one person and visualizing yourself accompanying that person, listening, bearing witness, inquiring. And in this experience of accompanying, especially noticing whatever physical sensations are present, doing a bit of a body scan right now and noticing where the experience of accompaniment shows up in your body. And being with that somatic experience, resting with it, allowing it, knowing it. A few comments here about the connections between mindfulness and accompanying. Part of what Kay and I have found so appealing about accompaniment is how readily it fits with mindfulness. How much accompaniment calls for awareness of the present moment experience. How much accompaniment calls for intention. How will I be showing up? Will I be showing up in a place of mirroring and bearing witness? Or will I succumb to judgment, being judgmental? It's so easy to do. Even when we're with somebody we deeply love, we're so vulnerable to judgment. It's an instinct. It's part of our wiring for protecting ourselves, and it's a habit. Just take a moment to think about how being judgmental compromises accompanying. Alternatively, when we find the spaciousness that we talk so often about as being one of the benefits of mindfulness, how spaciousness supports and enhances our capacity to accompany. Reflecting for a moment perhaps on how being caught up in wanting things to be permanent, perfect, and personal, being vulnerable to personal, can compromise our ability to accompany. How seeing clearly the four conditions of being human beyond our control, understanding them, how that supports accompaniment. How cultivating our awareness, skillfully avoiding, skillfully approaching, self-regulating, learning how these 5 characteristics of our enoughness support our capacity to accompany. Just continuing to reflect on the ways that mindfulness and accompanying fit together, support one another. And now relying on our understanding of mindfulness and our understanding of accompaniment, forming an intention for strengthening and expanding your own capacities for accompanying. For accompanying yourself, friends and loved ones, those who are difficult. Forming an intention for how you're going to accompany.